You ever have one of those brilliant ideas that just kind of fizzles out? A huge plan that never really gets off the ground? Yeah, we've all been there. Today we're going to go on a little journey from that first chaotic spark of an idea all the way to a finished, successful reality. We are going to uncover the framework that turns those messy thoughts into crystal clear, achievable goals. All right, so first things first, we need to really understand the beast we're trying to tame here. Our story starts with a problem that is, frankly, super common: projects failing. It's frustrating, it's expensive, and it happens way more often than you think. So what's the deal? Why do so many of these amazing, ambitious plans just hit a wall? Is it a lack of money? Just bad luck? Well, it turns out there's a specific discipline, a secret weapon, that's often the missing ingredient between success and failure. Just look at this. It really lays out the two paths a project can go down. On the left, you've got total chaos, missed deadlines, costs spiraling out of control. But on the right, you've got order. Goals are met, problems get solved. The difference maker? Effective project management. That's the secret sauce we're going to unpack today.
Okay, before we go any further, let's get our definition straight. What exactly is a project? Well, the formal definition is a temporary endeavor to create something unique. The two keywords there, the ones you really got to remember, are temporary and unique. This isn't your day-to-day routine. It's a special mission with a very clear finish line.
To make this whole thing less abstract, let's use a running example: building a new e-commerce website. It's a perfect example. I mean, you don't build a new one every single day, right? It's got a definite start, a target launch date, and the end result is a one-of-a-kind website. That is our project.
All right, so we've got our project. Now what? Well, you wouldn't start a cross-country road trip without a map, would you? And you definitely shouldn't start a project without a plan. This next part is all about creating that master blueprint for success.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. At the very core of every single project, there are these three competing forces that a project manager has to constantly balance. It's famously known as the iron triangle. And trust me, it defines the boundaries of your entire project. If you mess up one side, the whole thing can come crashing down.
First up is scope. Think of this as the what. It answers the big question: what exactly are we building here? For our e-commerce site, the scope would be all the features. You know, the shopping cart, the payment system, the product pages. It's the list of everything we need to do, and, just as important, everything we've decided not to do.
Next, we've got the schedule. This one's pretty simple. It's the when. It's the whole timeline. How long is it going to take to get our website built? And we're not just talking about a final launch date. We're talking about the sequence of every little task, from the first design sketch to the final round of testing.
And finally, the third corner of our triangle is cost, or the how much. This is the budget for our website. It covers everything, from the salaries for the developers to the licenses for the software. Now here's the point that ties it all together. Scope, schedule, and cost are all linked. You literally cannot change one without messing with at least one of the others. That's the balancing act.
So how in the world do you manage all that detail?
You break it down. You take a giant, scary project and you chop it into smaller pieces. This process is called a work breakdown structure, or WBS. Seriously, think of it like a to-do list on steroids. You start with the big project, break it into major chunks, and then break those chunks into tiny, manageable tasks. It's how you turn a massive goal into something you can actually do.
Okay, so we've got a map, we've got all the steps, but who is the person actually guiding this whole journey? Who's holding the map and keeping the whole team on track? Well, that would be the hero of our story, the project manager.
Now, you might think being a project manager is all about charts and checklists, but it is so much more than that. I mean, sure, the technical skills are a big piece of the pie, but leadership and strategy, they're just as important. Motivating your team, communicating clearly, making sure the project actually helps the business, those are the human skills that really get a project across the finish line.
So we have a plan, we have a guide, but let's be real. No journey is ever a straight line. Life happens. New ideas pop up. Problems come out of nowhere. Let's talk about how a really well-managed project deals with all the inevitable twists and turns.
And right on cue, here comes the #1 villain of any project: scope creep. This thing is a silent killer. It starts with those little requests that sound so harmless. Hey, while you're building the website, could you also add a live chat feature? It'll be easy.
Without a formal process, all these easy additions pile up, and before you know it, your schedule and your budget are completely blown.
So how do you fight scope creep? You fight it with a plan for changing the plan. This is where something called a change control board comes in. Think of them as the official gatekeepers. It's a formal group whose only job is to review any proposed changes to the project. Nothing gets added, nothing gets changed without their official say-so.
And this is how you defend against that chaos. It's a formal process. A request comes in, the project manager figures out how it impacts that iron triangle we talked about, and then the board makes a decision. The goal isn't to just say no all the time. The goal is to make smart, conscious decisions about every single change. This is how you turn that potential chaos right back into control.
Okay, we've planned the work, we've navigated the challenges, we're nearing the finish line. But what's the whole point? It's not just about finishing the project, right? The ultimate goal is to deliver real, meaningful value. And you know, that value comes in different flavors. You've got the tangible stuff, things you can actually count, like more market share because of our awesome new website. But just as important is the intangible value, things like better brand recognition or a stronger reputation. A truly successful project moves the needle on both of these, and that's how you know it really worked.
So there you have it, a roadmap for turning any big idea from chaos into a controlled, successful reality. And the best part is, these principles of scope, schedule, and cost, they apply to everything. Launching a new company, sure, but also planning a wedding, writing a book, you name it. So the only question left is, now that you've got the map, what's the next project you're going to go out and conquer?